Welcome, Chef Shane.
Thank you. First, I got the opportunity to do this event, and I was like, what better thing to do is Legos Chowder, because it's, famous. For the Bostonian, we've been serving, Legos Chowder since 1950 when the first Legal Seafoods opened, and back when Harry Berkowitz, started it back in, 1904, I believe, for the first in Cambridge, in Emmons Square, and as the first location did burn down, and maybe it was a good thing, because then all of a sudden they rebuilt and made Legos what it is. And then Roger, the son, took it over, and the brothers, they kind of parted ways, and then Roger took over Legal Seafoods and made it to what it is today. Unfortunately, the pandemic happened, and he did sell to PPX Hospitality. Great company. It's pretty much four partners out of Dublin, and they've been really good to us. Legal Chowder, they haven't changed much. We do change the menu seasonally now, to keep up with trends and people's likes. The Legal Chowder has never changed. I don't think it ever will. It's been served at how many presidential inaugurations and all the way up. So and I was like, we have to give chowder, and who doesn't like a free cup of chowder too? We also do Chowder Day. That it's a cup of chowder. If you guys been to Burlington or any Legals, we do that one day of free cup of $1 cup of chowder, and all the proceeds go to the Children's Hospital of that day. I know in Burlington alone served, about 900 gallons of chowder that day. It was definitely a stressful day, and we had the takeout area. If you've been into Burlington, and I hope you all have, we have a little takeout window, and it was wrapped around the entire day. So we're all trying to keep up, but it goes to a great cause. So it's a stressful day, but you think at the end of the day what you did. And Matt, our president, and the culinary team, we went down to Children's Hospital and presented the check. So it's a great feeling. But some people waited a very long time for some chowder. I do apologize. Because you can get as many cups as you want, or quarts or gallons. So definitely people took it, maxed out on it, and that's great because all the proceeds go to that. But all of a sudden you have people come up and like, I'll take 25 cups. You're like, okay, no problem. And then I was like, I'll take 65 cups. And you're like, whoa, okay. And you're like, wow, well, we're gonna be in the weeds for a little while. In our terms, that's you're running around. In a little bit about my background, I started Legal Seafoods as a prep cook. I'm just portioning rice. Back when Natick was Natick, then it turned over to Framingham, and then I just wanted to grow and and I always looked at it like I want her job, I want his job. And I just wanted to learn. I didn't ask the chef. I was like, can I work with you? I just like to learn. And that's how you grow. But I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of questions because Legal Seafoods, like fish chowder, and some of the old menu items. I have an answer maybe for half of them, maybe. But yeah, so that's about me. If you have any questions, if you guys want more chowder, I have a lot. I just feel bad. Other guys let you down, hadn't been covers, to bring home.
Any other restaurants in the chain?
Yeah, so PPX Hospitality, we have Smith & Winski's, the steakhouse, and Strega. So Strega was Smith & Winski's was the first restaurant they bought. And then the only one they don't own is the one in New York. And then they bought Strega. And then the only one that they didn't get was the one in the North End. And then they purchased Legal Seafoods, and they got all of us. The only ones that didn't come on was LTK. That was down in the Seaport area, right across the street from Harborside. And then there was one in Charlestown, Oysteria. But those are pretty much going to close due to the pandemic anyhow. Well, they actually didn't open during the pandemic, after the pandemic. But yeah. Any other questions?
Where did you say the original location was?
It was in Cambridge, in Emerald Square, yeah. So that was the, Emerald Square, that was the original, back in the day. And then we still have, and the one in Kendall Square still, right below Google. Yeah.
Two-part question.
Yep.
What's your favorite menu item to make, and what's your favorite menu item to eat?
On Legal Seafoods or in general?
I have legal.
Oh, that might be a trick question.
I won't put your job at risk today. We'll stick with
So, and this is the way I was just on Phantom Gourmet a couple, probably 2 months ago, and one of my like best, funnest dishes to make is our lobster mac and cheese, because we actually take the lobster, 1 pound lobster, and we steam it, and we take everything out of the shell, and we deconstruct the whole inside, and then we make a homemade cheese sauce with fresh lobster meat with cavatappi pasta. We toss it with extra sharp cheddar, and then we fill the cavity up, and then put more cheese and rich breadcrumbs and bake it. It's one of the, it's fun, and it's like kind of cool and trendy, so it's kind of fun. My other one is the burger. I know it sounds weird, but we do ground our own beef in-house at the QCC at our Quality Control Center in the Seaport. And we do ground our own meat, and then we patty everything right in-house. So it's really flavorful, has the right, 80-20 mix, so it's good. And then we take from tenderloin to sirloin and grind it up, so. And then we add in the fat, so it's good, yeah.
So a two-part question also. How much are you allowed to be creative within the kitchens of Legal Seafood? I
So-
assume you have set recipes, but how much is your creativity allowed?
So, per Roger, really not much. It was kind of his senior team did it, and then now we have a lot of creativity. So, there's 3 of us area chefs and our the culinary director. He oversees all brands, and then so we actually come up with pretty much we have the staples like the big cod, the steamed lobsters, the fisherman platter, but we can add stuff to it. So we just actually added strip clams to it also, or you can do clam bellies to it. But we have pretty much 100% of the creativity of the menu. On like some staples, we can't never change the chowder.
Yeah.
In like some of those items. So as a team, the culinary team, we all get together, we come up with some menus, and we go to the test kitchen, and we try them out. And then we have, we bring in PR people and other people and try it, and they're like, no, not gonna work. And you're like, okay, let's start over. Or we bring back some staples items like popcorn shrimp was a big item for us. I actually put that back on the menu now, and it's served actually in a popcorn box. We have popcorn served in a box with popcorn shrimp, and then it's served with a lime chili sauce. And so once the senior team tries it and the owners, then you got it, you're good to go. So pretty much this menu change we actually just changed 4 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago.
So yeah, between 3 of us, it was pretty much 100% of what we want to do. So you get a lot of, instead of just sliding food and taking care of the guests, you get to put more, you get to put your soul into it, and it's what you like to do. That's what we do, is cook, so.
Which leads me to my second question. I've always wanted to ask a professional restaurant chef this. How's your reaction when you get a diner coming in that has special requests?
So we get a lot.
I'd like to if you did.
And we take care of them. That's why everybody comes back to Legals, because we take allergies really serious. And anything special, if I have it in house, I'm gonna do it for you. We don't really say no. Some things I do say no on. We used to be a jasmine special on the menu. It was white rice, broccoli. It had this vinaigrette that was really good, and then it had cheese on it. And it was like Roger's, one of his favorite dishes. But he ate with it a lot of ketchup and tartar sauce with it. But yeah, so we do. I tell people, I'm like, yes, I can definitely make it for you, but we don't have that vinaigrette that really puts it over the top. So people get it and they're like, it's not the same. I'm like, I know. That's why I was trying to steer you to something else. But I'll definitely, do it. But we do get a lot of requests, and we take care of them if we have it in house, because you're my guest. So it's like if you ever came to my house, I'm gonna try to take care of you, and that's how we are. Doors open, and we try to welcome you. So, yes, on a Saturday or Fridays, you're like, oh, but you're just like, no, we got to do it. So she's my sous chef. She's my right-hand woman. And, she knows. I never say no. If I have it, we're going to do it. So, yeah.
Just to kind of piggyback on that, my name's Jessie. I do the private events for legals, every location outside of Riverside. We're in the hospitality business for a reason. We want to make sure that every guest is taken care of, and that includes people with allergies. Specifically, our menu is very gluten-free accepting. We use chickpea flour. We don't use regular flour, so even the fryers are really great. For allergies specifically, the server needs to let the manager know and the chef, and then when they're bringing in the order, they need to type in that allergy, and then a certified allergy person needs to be the only person that is bringing that allergy dish to the table. So they take it very, very seriously. Like I said, we're in the hospitality business. We want to make sure that everybody is having a good time, whether, and we want them to feel comfortable too. There's nothing worse than like going to a restaurant and, not knowing if you can have a safe meal. So we want to make sure we're taking care of everybody.
Not even that, so you do have a lot of allergies, and, I have one daughter that's allergy to the world, so it's hard to go out. But, I have like certain restaurants I will go to, because I know, yes, there's always that chance, but whoever knows, we're all human, but I'm like, all right, you're my daughter, I got you. Because, I built faith in them, and that's how we do it, legals. Like, so gluten-free, there's a lot of gluten-free people out there now. We have it from rolls to our entire fire litter is gluten-free. To our grill, we don't grill anything with gluten on it or anything. We do have one pan that we do rolls on, but in we call it the clam fry. It's a seasoning we put on. When Roger had it, we still use the same one. So nothing's changed on that either. And you couldn't tell because it's actually seasoned really well, too.
A number of years ago, Legal had a Shandong fish. And I love that.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
I do remember it. Yep. So I actually remember the same three sauces that people actually asked for. It was the fruit sauce that we put like wolfberries in and pineapple, and then the Shandong and the fish chowder that people ask for a lot. Yeah, I want to say I probably won't come back. I'm not sure. I'm not. Probably not.
Fingers crossed.
I actually, it was made at the QCC. So, we do have some of the ingredients that are on there, but we didn't make it in house. So Roger probably brought that to his next adventure. It was good. It was spicy. It had the large shiitake mushrooms and the ginger in it. Yeah, it was good on the white rice.
I had as a side, everything I ordered, I had that as a side.
Yeah. Any other questions?
What's the right temperature for serving the chowder?
165. So 145 is the right temp. We try to do like at least 165, just so it stays hot. Because the time that you scoop it, and then the server and goes to the table, we try to keep it still warm. So reheating it is 165, and then we hold it at like 145. It's supposed to be, but we do 165, just so it stays nice and hot. Because we all know, so time you walk somewhere or you get caught up, but 165. Make sure it's hot. Hopefully it was hot enough today. I was trying to go, yeah.
Where is it made? I assume you don't make it in each restaurant.
No, so it's made at our quality control center. It's in the Seaport. If everybody knows it's Seaport, Harpoon Brewery. It's over there, and the quality control center is actually to the left, like all in the back. And actually, we were moving to, we're going to
Largest Medfield?
Medfield, to a spot. So,
I think right
So-
now they're working with like 3,500 square feet, and they're gonna go like 12,000
yeah,
square feet.
so it's gonna be a lot bigger.
Yeah, way bigger, yeah.
You know, so,
Much bigger.
because hopefully, I mean, we're growing. We're opening one in Chicago right now. That's gonna be pretty soon. Right, actually next door to Smith & Lewinsky's. You know, we just reopened Burlington, so that was good for everybody there. The reservation's like really nice. So yeah, so they're gonna go out there, but that's where we make everything now. So pretty much all of our sauces and soups will be made there, and then we use North Coast seafood even for our fish. So everything goes there, and everything's tested and everything. So when it comes to us, and then All Legals just started a sushi program. So now All Legal Seafoods has sushi also. So that was a big adventure and a lot of fun dealing with some towns. But yeah, we have a whole HACCP plan that we did, and so now All Legals has sushi. So
When we buy the chowder in the supermarket, it comes from that same place.
so we don't really. So Roger had that part. He had like the supermarket stuff like that he was trying to get into. But it's made by same recipe, yes, but it's made somewhere else for like a supermarket value. It's really illegal. It is really illegal. So if you tried it, it is the same. You know, but it serves in a supermarket. But we do have commerce that you can order the chowder through our website, and you can get it shipped anywhere you want. I would say do that. You know, so.
How long were you actually closed in Burlington, and where did you work during the renovations?
So I was actually never previously in Burlington. So I worked in the city, but I think it was a year and something. So our president, he had he has like the
45
proper,
days.
but he was like, I think they built like the World Trade Center. I mean, the towers before Burlington was redone, and it had to do a lot of towning. Because I know we're almost getting ready to open, and I was coming out of the city to open it, and then the city did walk through and like, well, no, in the mall I was like, no, not yet. Like, okay, back in the city we go, but it did take a while, over a year. So I do know that. What's that?
A year and 45 days.
Year and 45 days. No, she wasn't counting. Yeah.
I love to cook, and sometimes I'll make the old standbys from childhood, sometimes I'll just make, I will try new stuff, but I find that on average, it takes me a long time. And, sometimes it's just there's nobody on the other end of that waiting, and sometimes there might be, and it's stressful. So if you're in a busy restaurant, you must experience that pressure, but without having an assistant to do all my prep work, how far in advance would I be able to, like, say, chop a bunch of vegetables and have them still not lose the nutritional value or not break down and turn into mush?
So,
What's reasonable?
I mean, like a day or two, in your fridge. As soon as you put water in a chopped vegetable, it starts taking out some of those nutrients too. But I would definitely do like at home. So I cut fruit from my daughters, and sometimes I cut the fruit and then they want a marshmallow instead. So I'll put it in the fridge. I'll just do like a little damp cloth, like a towel over it, and that keeps the moisture into the vegetables instead of soaking them.
So just a plate full of like chopped peppers?
Yeah,
or a damp paper towel?
I would just put it in a bowl and then wet a paper towel, push it down on there. Don't have it like soaking wet because then it just goes, and just keep it on there, and then it keeps it fresh for a while, and then it gives the vegetables room to breathe too. So if you cover it, then it's kind of just traps everything in there, so it keeps all the moisture in. So at least
No, like sometimes I'll put pot lid over a plate and that, but don't.
yeah, I mean if it's like a steak or something like that, definitely cover it. Something because it's gonna oxidize on you. So if you have like a steak that you didn't get to, I would definitely wrap it tight. You know, you can, if you put, you know, a lot of salt on a steak, it will withdraw some of the, you know, moisture out of it. So we'll dry it out. So I'd recommend cooking that pretty soon. You know, but other than that, if you cut a steak and you just wrap it really tight, get the air out of it, and then you can keep it in the refrigerator for at least 3 days.
So you wouldn't salt your meats until they're pretty close to when you're gonna do it?
If like steaks and stuff, yeah, steaks, chicken, I definitely season. You can season way ahead of time because it takes a while to break it down. You know, but the steak is just like if you put salt on it, it withdraws all like your protein and all the moisture out of it. So I wouldn't season your steak. And if you do take your steak out, if you're doing steaks or a chop or something like that, you can leave it on your counter for at least 20 minutes or so, just so it kind of gets a little bit, not like room temp, but takes some of that chill out of it, and that breaks down the meat a little bit more for cooking. So, yeah. But I mean, we bulk prep, you know, so pretty much we're doing a lot, but at home, I definitely get it because, I mean, food's
Your energy too, like you spent all your time shopping all these vegetables and they look beautiful, but then you're like, now I gotta make the rest of that?
Right. You know, so like, right, so I'd kind of look at you know, what you're doing, you know, so, you know, I'd go from like what you're making, your recipe, you know, so if you're making with this chicken piccata, you know, so, you know, I would probably cook my pasta kind of towards the end because it takes a short time, you know, but I'd season the chicken, let it get up to temp, season it, you know, and then you start cooking it, and then I'd start cooking your pasta, you know, and then cut your mushrooms, so then if you're entertaining, for me purpose, to get a little brown, doesn't matter, you know, oxidized, but you just go in and you saute that with that, and then you know, use your wine and stuff, and then after, so it's kind of like playing a little, like, all right, so what takes longer, what takes shorter, but chopping vegetables takes a long time,
Yeah.
you know, especially if you don't have an assistant.
And you mentioned mushrooms, what would you say is the best way to prep mushrooms to? I mean, do you have to?
Depends what you're using it for, so.
Too much, right, because it'll just.
No, so yeah, so we'd actually just put roasted mushrooms on our menu, and you don't get much yield out of it. So we roast them right now. So we just do. So right now we're doing shiitake and button mushrooms, and we cut them up, and then we toss it with a little olive oil, salt, pepper, just a real like traditional method. We roast them pretty much halfway, and then we take them out, chill them down, and then we toss them with the garlic butter, and then we put like fried shallots on top. You know.
To the getting clean part.
Yeah. So you know. Yeah. So. No, we rinse them off in a wash. You know. So, yeah. So we just rinse them until they're clean, and then we just quarter them. But it all depending on what you're using. You know. So if you did a scampi, if you put mushrooms in it, or masala, you slice them. You know, if you're doing a little bit more hearty stuff, you know, I'd quarter them, or depending on the size of the mushrooms, you know, I'd do that so for plate appearance. If you just slice mushrooms, it's kind of hard to eat. You just use a fork, but yeah. Yeah, of course.
Do you have a busy season or a slow season?
So, for some strange reason, summertime in the mall is really busy. Yeah, exactly. That's what I said too. Last year, I was, you know, same thing. I thought, we're busy during Christmas time, but we actually do more sales from the month of May to July than we do from like November to December.
That's really strange.
It's very weird to me. I take it. You know, it's good. But yeah, so in Burlington alone, that's ours. Like, we're a little bit actually busier during the summertime. You know, and then some other locations, you know, we'll take the Long Wharf right across the street from the aquarium down. You know, wintertime is lower because not really much activity down there. Summertime, busy. You know, I'd probably go to Park Square instead. Same quality, but you get in a lot quicker. You know, because you have the aquarium right there. Harborside, you know, wintertime, you know, that's down in the seaport area. If you're in Bend, we just actually redid the roof deck up there. So it's really beautiful. You oversee the bay and the airport. You know, we just did a whole new menu change up there also. But it's 3 floors. And you can sit right on the water. So it's summertime, really busy. You know, wintertime, I mean, they do okay because a lot of private dining. But, you know, so a lot of those locations, Kendall Square and you know, in Cambridge, you know, Monday through Friday's busy. Weekends, you'd think, slow. Because there's not much really goes down there. Because a lot of businesses, you have MIT and school. But wintertime they're really busy. Summertime kind of slow because a lot of people take vacations because they are right above Google. Schools are out, So then the summertime they're a little slower. So all depends on what location you're kind of in. Burlington though, summertime busy. Yeah.
Overall, how does a Burlington restaurant rank among the seafood restaurants?
The best. Yeah, for all Eagles. I'm the chef there. There ain't no better chef in the company.
Burlington was actually number one in the entire company for sales and guests coming
So-
on Mother's Day.
Yeah, so for restaurants around the area, I'm not really sure. You do have yard houses and stuff like that, and cheesecakes that, but I mean for pound for pound, we're pretty much one of the top restaurants, I think, in Burlington. You do have like the Moos and Smith and Winskies, and with higher checkpoints, so their check average is a little higher. But legals. We're about the 5th busiest, 6th, all depending on the season. Right now we're about 4th or 3rd. Come the summertime, we'll definitely beat some of the other restaurants that are slowing down because of the summer. But then you have like the Harborsides and Long Wharfs, and all those that are going to be monsters during the summer. But usually about 5th in the company for average. Food quality and that, the best chef, Burlington.
I had a question on the test kitchen. So, is it just all like pilot meals or recipes? Then is that how that works?
For
the legal test kitchen?
No, so we call it the test kitchen. It's in our facility, so it's just an empty kitchen. And we go up there and we just have fun. That's when we come up with ideas and cook. Yes, no, great, needs this. But there's just pots and pans, and then we just bring in what food we'd want. So there's no like pre-meal stuff. No, so we'll just say popcorn chicken. I'll bring it, popcorn shrimp. I'll bring in a little bag from a restaurant, some sauce, and we'll just play around with stuff. We'll all try it and we'll pass it around, some people. And that's how we come up with some of the ideas. But for pre-packaged stuff like that, no, it's kind of just empty kitchen. Like if I went into your kitchen and said, make me something, kind of the same thing. Where's your pots and pans? Let's go. So same thing we do there. We just call it the legal test kitchen, because that's where we just test food. It's pretty much like just a chef's kitchen. That answer your question?
Yeah, sorry. I thought people could dine there for some reason.
Oh, no. Yeah, no, this is kind of just where we just go to come up with menus, stuff like that. Because sometimes we go to a restaurant, we just get in the cook's way, and they don't want you there. You're like over in there Friday later, and they're like, get out of here, I'm busy, So we just go there, and that's what we do our food. But yeah.
How often do you get to play there?
So pretty much every 2 months, 3 months, we go for for seasonal menu change. So we were there a lot, and the last couple month or so, just trying some food. But other than that, unless we're doing new menu stuff or maybe some features, that we want to run for the month that we get, so we'll go there and try them. Cook the stuff. So then we come up with a recipe, and then the ingredients, and then like any allergy stuff that we have. We would say there's soy in it, so we come up with a whole packet, and then we do it, and then we send it out to the restaurants and the chefs to execute the dish with the cooks. So there is some timing because you do have those allergies, and we take those serious, and so we'll just say the Friday they were like, oh yeah, it's gluten free, we can't do that. So it's fun, but pretty much every 2 to 3 months we'll go there and have some fun.
Do you also consider the price point when you're playing?
We do. For the price point wise, we do look at that, but that comes from the finance team. They look at it and be like, no, or like yes, because they're the finance guys. To me, I'm like, it's a great meal. It's like, well, it's not. It's a great meal, but we can't, So they do out that finance part. and we look for for what fish is coming up that we can keep in house too, that's not overfished or anything like that. So we have a good partnership. Oh, yeah.
Just to say, like, you work with what's in season, always planting over time.
Yeah, so we work well in season. We try not to keep, because it is a menu that does last pretty much a couple months. And the last thing you want to do is have a menu and you're like, oh, I'm sorry, you don't have that. And you're like, oh, I'll have the cod. And you're like, can't have that either. So we do look at that. So we do work with our vendors, and we're like, this is what we're kind of looking for. This is what we want to do. Do you have any local farms? Our green mix right now, we're getting out of Springfield, Mass, that is grown. And then Shirley, Mass, I think we're just going to another farm because Legos is a big company, so they're like, all right, so let's source out another one. So we do look at those. But yeah. Sorry.
What locations have the same menu then, since you're coordinating?
Yeah. So every Legos Seafoods has the same exact menu now. So no matter if you go to Chicago soon, or in the city, or Virginia Beach we just opened, it's all the same exact menus. And then that's where we go back to the quality control center and where we make stuff so it's consistent on some of the sauces and stuff like that. So this way it does consistent.
So when you feature a special, that special is the same across all the restaurants?
No, we do give the chefs some flexibility of running some features in their restaurant. Legal Seafood used to have a sea cast on their menu. So it came off, but some locations still feature it, and it does really well. They'll reach out to the area chefs and be like, hey, North Coast has some flounder in. Do you mind if I get some and run a feature with it? No, absolutely. So then if we do like a corporate one, that's when we come up with some menus and stuff like that and recipes and give it out. But the chefs have pretty much flexibility of what they want to do. I know Framingham actually was doing a bread pudding. It was like a maple bread pudding that people loved. And actually someone came to Burlington to get it, and I'm like, bread pudding? I'm like, I don't want bread pudding. And I reached out to Sean, I was like, you want a bread pudding? And he's like, yeah. He's like, it's running out. And I go, I know, people are here to get it. I'm like, so now you gotta drive me a piece. I'm like, I know you, I'm like, let's go. But yeah, we do give the chefs some flexibility on that.
So you have to have that approved, but does someone have to approve everything you want to try or do?
So if we do a big menu change, yes. We definitely have some approval, and the owners and the president and the culinary director, the VP of culinary, so we all get around the table when we make the food, or we tell our president, like, this is what we kind of want to do, and he's like, okay, let's do it. But yes, for that we have to get approval because it's company wide. But for features in the restaurant, not really. I let them do their thing, because if I was telling them no, then what's the fun out of that? So, but yeah.
I'm going to come into your restaurant and you have a rather extensive, menu, and you don't know what I'm going to order. How do you know that I can order anything off that menu and it's going to be fresh? How do you guys do that?
So, the restaurant, so we do batch stuff, so we do make stuff. But our fish, we get pretty much 6 days a week. Sunday we just, they'll deliver a truck if we need. But produce, fish, QCC all has, we get orders every day, and we're prepping every day.
So you never really have to get rid of anything because people haven't ordered that particular thing off the menu?
No.
I've always wondered.
No, I can't speak to any other restaurants, mom and pops, but Legals, no. So we go through the food that we have, and we have an ordering and par system and a whole inventory system. So I can look back this week and be like, how many swordfish did we sell for the week, and that's why you go to a restaurant sometimes, and there's things called 86, but it means we just don't have it, and either one, it wasn't available, or two, we ran out because we didn't order enough. But so we do have an ordering system. You go into the Compete, that's our inventory system, and you put what we have, and it breaks it down to what we're going to use for the week. Plus you have your sales, what you put in there. But no, pretty much, especially in Burlington and stuff like that, all this stuff is, constantly moving, so.
Is the fish coming in whole, or are you getting the fillets, or?
So we do haddock and pollock. They come in, like some ones we do break, not whole, but we do get sides, and then we portion it out. And then the other fish that we do get is all portioned from North Coast. So you just order by the 10 piece, and that's what you can keep it fresh because you're not ordering 100 pieces. I'm ordering like 10 at a time or 200, depending on, it's a Monday, 20. It's a Saturday, 120. Because you go by your sales. But outcomes.
Like for Mother's Day, where you got slid.
You sort of a lot.
Did you run out of stuff?
One or two things. It's not too much. The next day wasn't so fun for the guests because now it's so North Coast delivers, but they're coming from they have multiple locations too that they deliver to, but on Monday there was some stuff that was we kind of got in the lunch business and you're like it's tight, but most people understand. We weren't 86 that many items, one or two, but it was just from that. But it's kind of just, you just go to what we did last year in Mother's Day, and you're like, well, it's nicer outside because the weather was, I can't remember, but it was say rainy, or sunny. So maybe some people went out, moms wanted to go to the beach instead, or just want to do their own thing. When it's rainy, people go out, So we projected to do a bit more sales, but it's kind of it's a guessing game, but not really a guessing game because you do have a whole system that kind of tell you. Yeah, so, but it's fun. That's what keeps you doing it. Keeps you going back. Yeah.
Is it possible to make a nice fish stock at home? Is there availability to get like bones or the head of the fish or something to make a nice stock at home? Or is that
yeah.
more like in restaurants would have?
So I mean, you can definitely get some, bones. I'm not 100% sure. Like some of those locations, like I know, I think Market Basket. I know the one in Middleton. They'll do some fish bones and scraps for you.
So you ask ahead of time before they would cut up a fish?
Yeah, like I saw, actually I didn't know that until the other day. Somebody was actually getting, they got lobsters and some fish. They said it like scraps, and they gave me like a bag to weight it. But yeah, you can get some stuff, or you can get some filleted fish, and then you can break it down a little bit and then do your own like that.
I want to hear what a day like the sous chef is like. All the prep work that you have to do.
Don't worry, you're not on camera or anything. No.
A day in life. Huh? A day in life. It's when he comes in. Where's this? Where's that? Why is this not made? Oh, give me 1 second. Okay. Where's this? Where's that? So, it's a little bit stressful, but I went into culinary because I love cooking. So whatever comes my way, I know how to handle it. And he's a good boss. He understands. As much as we get busy, and during busy hours, anything goes. But it's about knowing what to prep ahead of time and what's needed ahead of time, so that when we're busy, we're not running around and lacking things. So I was in Burlington before COVID, and then we closed, and we reopened, and it's been busier than before.
The day goes by, right?
Does go by.
It does. You're like a hamster on a wheel. You're thrown in, you run, and then it throws you out, and you're like, oh my God, it's the end of the night. Awesome, let me go home. And then you come back the next day in the morning. And there are other challenges, people calling out, we're short-staffed, and he's the chef of Burlington, but he's also the area manager. So he has to be everywhere and there at the same time. So it's one of those things where, you know, he has other responsibilities. So I try to make it easier for him when he comes to Burlington. Like, everything is there, and if it's not there, then I'll call him, or, you know, we'll figure it out. But yeah,
So it's great.
it is great.
That's what I get out of it.
It is great. It is great.
The same. It's the same. So, you know, and that's how, you know, my team is in my other restaurants run, is, you know, it's all hands on deck.
Yeah.
You know, and just because I'm the chef or you know, the area director for the culinary and that, but we all have we all have the same responsibilities. You know, and you can ask her. You know, I never worked with her previous Legal Seafood Jess, but I was always in the city and I had some city restaurants, and she was on the outskirts, and you know, but I'm never like, I'm the chef. This is why I want to do it.
Yeah.
I'm the chef. We're a team. You know, and I need her more than she needs me, actually. You know, and you know, I need my team more than they kind of need me, because they could do it without me. I'm just there to guide them a little bit, like back on the hamster wheel. You know, let's get back on. You know, but we all have like the same responsibilities. You know, and we try to take care of the guests. You know, so, but yeah, sometimes it's a little stressful, and I come in and, you know, I'm like, no, there's no 86 things. Why? You know, but you have those days, but you know, we just do it because we love it. You know. But she's definitely, I couldn't do it without her. I know that. So, yeah. That's why we're a good team. You know, that's why I was doing this event, and I was like, you know something, Rafa? You're coming with me. And she's like, oh, I get out of the restaurant? I'm like, yeah, today you can. Yeah, exactly. She's going back tonight. No, I'm not.
Do you have like a food truck? I know that's a big trend now, is like food trucks going places. Is that how you do events, or do you guys do like tables?
We do not do a food truck. We do have event spaces in 12 or 13 of our locations. So I look through that. We get a lot of our leads right through our website. You can just go right on and pick whatever location that you're looking for, and it'll showcase the menu that they have. Because there is similar items that are on the regular menu, but a little bit more prefixed, a lot smaller for guests. So when they do come in, the only thing they're picking is their main course, and we have everything executed in a timely manner.
So for events, you're going into the restaurant as opposed to someone from the restaurant?
Right, exactly. Yeah. I don't work the events, I just book them, and then the managers that are on site, they'll manage it, day of details and stuff like that.
Do you train the wait staff as well? I mean, one of the things about legal is your wait staff is pretty knowledgeable about what's coming out. It's not just somebody carrying a plate to the table.
Yeah, so for like food stuff we definitely do. We call it like pre-meal. It's when we all get together. It's pre-shift, so it's before we open. Usually like 15 minutes before we would open, and then for the lunch shift, and then we do another one for dinner. So we kind of like put the menu stuff, anything that's not available or something like that. So when you do sit down at a table and like, unfortunately, cod's unavailable right now. We don't have it. So then you're like, oh, because the worst thing is, you're like, oh, something, and then you don't know. Like, oh, we don't have that. So we do teach them, and let them know what's going on in the restaurant. For like wine and stuff like that, that's mostly off front of the house. But for anything for food quality, we do it every day.
Well, how about when you first hire them? I mean, is it like a week or two before you let them on the floor? And
So-
they just work with you?
Yeah, so I know what they do. So front house manager usually hires those like the servers. But yeah, so there's some intentional training. So you have to know the menu, but they'll do food running shifts. That's where we run the food. So if you ever see your server not like bringing your food, it might be another server, but we have food runners to get the food out a little quicker. So they'll run food for a week or so to know the food, to look at it. Then you get, at the end of the night or the day, you get to pick a meal and you try it. You can't get like the lobster roll every single day. So you have to try something else. So well, they'll do that, and then they'll shadow another front house, like another server. And so if you ever saw that at a restaurant, someone's always beside them, you're like, oh, it's two servers. You know, but it's someone that's training and, you know, learning from them. And then they get a little small section, and then hopefully they're really good, and they get a bigger section, or they go back to Bertucci's, you know.
We do have a training program too that our HR department puts together called Spooks. So when they are training, they're required to go into that system and fill out, you know, learn about all of the allergies, all the ingredients, everything that's, you know, in those dishes, and then they take a test on it as well. And then they, you know, based on how they're doing, that kind of is based on like when they're ready to kind of start that.
Yeah, so there is like a test, so it's like a fish and chip, like, you know, what comes with it, you know, or like the chowder, you know, does it have pork, doesn't have pork, you know, like some of those questions that you do get asked, so. But yeah, they have a whole system that, it's for legal seafoods, for cook-wise to management-wise, you know, and that's what a lot of our chefs learn, so we come up with a menu, and we put it on this program that Legal's created, Skooks, and you go in and you can look at everything in there, so. It's pretty dialed in, so it's good. Yeah.
Your bartenders can do it all.
Bartenders
are good.
Bartenders, you know, bartenders are bartenders, right? That's what I always say.
They serve.
So that's what, you know, so bartenders, they're a server, and then, you know, you always, it was like me being, you know, when I was working fry. I'm like, I don't want to work fry anymore. I want to work that station. You know, and same with, you know, a server, you're like, oh, like, you know, I want to be a bartender. You know, because it's fun, and you get to interact a little bit more with guests too. You know, but they can do it all. From mixed drinks to solving problems
Yeah, you
to,
got some good.
yeah, so it's good.
Therapists.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Your Chicago location, is that right around Chicago?
I'm not exactly sure. Do you know exactly
No,
location?
It's right on the water.
It's right on.
If you're familiar with where Smith and Walensky's is, we're gonna be literally, we're sharing a wall with them, so we're literally right next door.
So right there on the canal, so it's right there. So the deck, where everybody walks during the summertime, on that pier, right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that the first location in the Midwest?
Yeah.
Ohio, and I don't know if Ohio's considered the Midwest, but yeah, they closed. Where do they have Smith's there?
Smith, yeah, I think it's the first one out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that like, is that a logistical challenge then, to bring all the seafood out to the Midwest?
Yeah, you know, so, you know, that's, North Coast is a great, you know, provider for us, and they're gonna fly stuff out and truck it too. You know, but we'll use, like some of our vendors here, like, you know, we use Katsarubis as our produce. You know, it's been around forever, and it's, you know, local, one owner, you know, so that's what we try to stay towards. You know, and then we'll go out there and they'll use a different produce company, but for fish wise, North Coast is gonna fly fish out and stuff like that, and then same thing with QCC, like our Quality Control Center, will bring out, fly stuff out to them.
So that was what I was gonna ask, was if you guys were gonna build a new QCC
No.
Midwest, you were planning on.
I mean, if they do a couple of locations,
Yeah.
you know, this one should be good. Really busy, you know, it's right there on the water, you know, so summertime I'm sure is gonna be crazy. Like, you know, wintertime might be a little slower because, you know, you know, so, but yeah, so they'll fly all the fish, like before they do, like, Virginia Beach, we fly the stuff down. Yeah. 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 Any questions? Yeah.
Let's give a big round of applause. This is wonderful.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, and if anyone wants more chowder, definitely
more chowder.
take it. Yeah.